record button. Can say Javier's just joined. I think the team is there, incomplete, I believe. So welcome, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Viz For Social Good CEPEI live event. I'm Frederick, I'm one of the co-directors for Viz For Social Good. We also have Vanita on the call, and if you want to say a few words. And I can see we've got also a few volunteers like Dennis. So I've got 1 or 2 slides to just set the scene. Nothing more. That event is really for the volunteers, the free volunteers, to showcase their work. So if I start with a few slides, I said nothing much. Just setting the scene for the program today. So obviously I'm just doing a quick opening, but and I'd like maybe the CP team to introduce their team. So everybody knows who you are, Alex and Philippe. Maybe a few minutes. Just tell us what you're doing and what you're doing in the team, and then we'll basically hand over to the free volunteers, Victor, Chira, and then Kristina. They're basically going to present us their database projects. So the way it would work is quite simple. So the volunteers would have 10 to 15 minutes each, presenting their screen, sharing your screen with Zoom, and you're basically telling us your story, telling us why you created that database. Did you find any insights? Maybe also share your experience. What do you like? What did you like? And then obviously there'll be a Q&A session with the CP team, also giving feedback, and then we just wrap up. So I think that's process is quite simple. Use the chat as well if you have questions. If other volunteers have questions, maybe wait until the end and we can do a bit of a Q&A. So I think that's it for my part. I'm going to leave, I don't know if it's Alex or Philippe who wants to start a quick introduction. And
Yes.
Then I'm leaving it to the team to just get started. That's it, as simple as that. Philippe.
Thank you very much, Fred. And first of all, once again, good morning from Bogota, Colombia. I'm Philip Schondort, Executive Director of CEPEI, and I'm happy to be here with my colleagues in order to see all the effort you have put in and what we can take out of that and actually present it as a public good for the development community here in Latin America and the Caribbean. And I hand over directly to Alexandra and to my colleagues that are present here.
Thank you and good morning. I'm Alexandra. I'm the strategic coordinator at CEPEI. We're very happy to coming to the end of this exciting process. We really want to thank Viz For Social Good and the volunteers for their time, effort, and dedication. Even though we are aware that this project represented a challenge, we saw very interesting proposals. And of course, we want to congratulate the selected volunteers joining us today to present their work. We're eager to see the presentations. Thank you, and I'm handing it to Javier.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. I just thanked you using the chat for your work. And I will be very quick. I just want to ask you to include in your presentations, if possible today, any information related to the database you have used to build your visualizations. I mean, it's very important for us to know if you have made any changes in the format of the data that we shared with you, because it have impacts in the update of the data. So please include or at least mention in your presentation if you changed the format of the database or if you use the data just as it was shared with you. And again, thank you very much.
Vanita, did you want to say a few words if the CP team has done the quick hello? Do you want to say a few words as well?
Yeah, I just, I don't want any interest of time, but again, thank you to CEPEI team and to the volunteers. This has been a great project and really looking forward to seeing all the visualizations now.
And simply that, colleagues, we also have Maria Jimena, Javier, who just spoke, and Selena. The three of them are from the research team, and Ricardo, who I don't see at this very moment, but he is here with Pablo. They're both in advocacy and communication. So we have invited actually all interested parts from our team and are ready to go. So over to you once again.
Good. Thanks, Tim. We don't have any order, so as I said, we've got Victor, Nicole, Chira, Kristina. I don't know if someone wants to start first and go first. You choose, otherwise I'll. But I don't know if Victor, you want to start first, since you were the first one logging in. So Victor from Medellin, currently in Turkey, traveling. So over to you, Victor.
Thank you, Frederick. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Victor Muñoz. As Frederick says, I am originally from Colombia, but right now I'm in Istanbul, Turkey. I am a former information security analyst, but since this year, I decided to build a new career path in data visualization. So I have been working in Tableau and also participating in different projects. So that's the reason why I am here. So this is my visualization. And before just getting into the data, I would like to start first with the explanation of the structure of the reports. So you are going to find here a navigation bar for the different reports. So we have 3 reports: Voluntary National Reviews Quality Index, the National Governance Quality Index, and also one report to compare. Here we have a toolbar, and it's going to have some tools for the different reports. And we have 2 special features here. The one is to change the language of all the reports, and also you can download this report in PDF also as an image. So saying that, and turning back to English, now I would like to explain a little bit about the visualization. So I understand the subject is not common for everybody. Like for me, it was like my first interaction with this project. So I added here some context and some definitions to somebody that doesn't know about this to understand the actual process and everything that CEPEI is doing right now. So for this first report, we have 6 definitions: the 2030 agenda, the development goals, the high-level political forum, the voluntary national reviews, CEPEI, and also finally, what is the voluntary national review quality index. So in this case, we have the development goals, and we have here all the countries that have agreed on comply with those, and they're presented voluntary national reviews to the high-level political forum to showcase their progress in the implementation of these goals, and also to share the lessons that they are been learning from this process. And here is CEPEI. CEPEI is just taking all information from these BNRs, and they are building the BNR quality index and sharing the information with the countries and the UN. So after that, now we can just move to the actual dashboard. And here you're going to see for the first, quality of voluntary national reviews, the key of the level of the quality index. Then you're going to find 2 key performance indicators. So this is going to show the progress of the evolution of the quality index with those with 2 approach. One, just considering the national reviews of every year. So in this case, just considering the national reviews that we have for 2023, and another one that is going to consider all the reports until the date. So for example, here we're going to find like the average of this index for all the reports until the date. So here we are going to find a map with the latest index recorded by each country. So you're going to see that some countries has presented more than one national review. Some of them have increased and others has decreased in their quality. But here we are just showing the latest one. You can hover or you can select the countries to see more information about it. So in this one, we are seeing Argentina. And if we select Argentina, we are going to see all the information about Argentina in this case. In the next chart, we are going to see the distribution of all the BNRs by the years. And the same here, you can select or hover over each of the reviews. And for example, here we have Barbados. Barbados is the lowest quality index recorder in the dataset. But if you see, we have another input in 2023. So it shows that after that lowest score that it has achieved in 2020, they achieved a bigger one in 2023. In this chart, so we are going to see the composition of all of the dimensions that integrate the quality index. Here at the top, you're going to find the dimensions that have a better opportunity to improve among all the countries in Latin America. And at the end, you're going to see the best performance dimensions. And finally, you're going to find here a table with a summary of the evolution of all the quality index by each country. So you're going to see the country, the years they have present the voluntary national review, you're going to see the quality index, and also you're going to see if they have increased or decreased corresponding to the last review that they have presented. And if you see here, there is a little icon. That icon means that you can actually go to the report that CEPEI has built for that. Just, what is happening? Give me 1 second. There is the URL for the report that the CEPEI has with all the details about that specific report. And we have it. I found it in the webpage for some of the reports. So I just take it and then put it on the data set that I use for this visualization. So I know that there is a lot of information here, but I also built this how-to or instructions. So it tells a user that wants to use this dashboard what to expect in this visualization here. You are also going to find the methodology that CEPEI has built for this index. So here you're going to have access to the methodology for building this index. And finally, we also have here the recommendations for the countries that are going to present a new review. So I simplify with just 2 questions. The first one is, have you previously presented a VNR? And the other one is, what phase are you in right now? If you are creating a review, if you're presenting the review, or after the presentation of the review. And here below, you're going to find all the recommendations for those. So as you can see, this is the only stuff that is in Spanish. The rest of the letters are in English, but this is the only part that we didn't know. We didn't have in English in the dataset. So one thing to improve here maybe will be just like to translate it in English too. Okay, that's it for this site. Then we move to the National Governance Quality Index. In this case, it's the same structure. So you're going to find here the information for this is less definitions than the other one. In this case, I only use the 2030 agenda, the development goals, CEPEI, and the governance quality index. And the diagram is also very similar to the other one. So in this case, all the countries are participating to comply with the development goals, and CEPEI is taking the information about the leadership, governing, and communication. And with that, they are creating the governance quality index. So we take this one out. And now we also have here the key for the different levels that we have in this index. We have the average of the national governance in Latin America and the Caribbean. So in this case, you can see that we have medium low, almost medium high, but still medium low for all the region. As you can see here, the map is also color code, but with the governance index. In this case, we have more countries because this is independent of if the country has present one BNR, of having present one BNR. Also, you can select the countries or you can hover over it. And one of the things that you're going to see is that here, this is connected to the previous report. So in this chart, you're going to see the relationship between the Voluntary National Review Quality Index and the National Governance Quality Index. Here at the top right, you're going to see higher quality for both dimensions. And here at the bottom left, you're going to see lower quality for both dimensions. So something to point out here, it was like these countries here, and maybe these other countries here, that you can see that Barbados, with a lower governance index than other countries, has achieved better voluntary national reviews quality index. So one of these, we are going to use it for the last page. And also, like the other report, we have here the composition for the different dimensions. So you can see the one with a better opportunity to improve, and the one that is with the best performance. And finally, you have the rank of all the countries based on the National Governance Quality Index. The same, you're going to find here how to, so the explanation for how to use this dashboard. So you're going to find all the information here. And also the methodology for that CEPEI has built to calculate this National Governance Index. Finally, so we have compare. In this case, we have the option to compare between voluntary national reviews qualities and also between countries and compare the governance quality. So for this, I have prepared two examples. In the first one, let's say I'm going to take Argentina. I'm going to select it. And as you can see, Argentina, it increased the quality in 2020, but it decreased the quality in 2022. As you can see here are presenting the different dimensions and the score that they have for these dimensions. But if you want to compare that and to see more clearly the information, you can come here and select, for example, I want to know for Argentina 2022, and I want to compare it with Argentina 2020. In this case, you're going to see in which dimensions Argentina have improved and in which dimensions have decreased the quality. And for this one here in the governance quality index, I also select two countries to present here. Barbados, you can see that, yeah, I was telling earlier, Barbados has a good VNR quality index for 2023 compared with other countries like El Salvador, that they have better governance index. So if we go to the other page, we compare Barbados, and we put here El Salvador. So we see that, yeah, actually Barbados have lower score in the dimensions that integrate the governance quality index. But if we are going to compare the latest report by each of the countries, we're going to see here something different, and is that Barbados have achieved a better quality index in the VNR that they are presenting. So they are doing something in Barbados. I think that's it. Well, I wasn't prepared for the data set. I think I just let everything as it was. I just add this column here that I was telling you earlier about the URL for the reports that you have published in the webpage. I know you also built like a master table to play with the countries and the years. So this is the one that I was using, but I'm not really sure, and I have not opened Tableau to show you the, let me see something.
Sorry for jumping in,
Oh,
Victor.
okay.
Don't worry if you
Oh,
don't
okay.
have the tables to show it to us. In case we decide to move forward with your visualization, we probably will ask you to have a short meeting so you
Okay.
can explain us in detail how the data is organized now, so we can continue including new data.
And
Okay.
I think that's something I also want to mention. The next step would be for the free volunteers to get in touch with you guys, or the other around. If you want to work further with the volunteers, stay in touch, and there might be some further work to be done on the dashboard or on the data. So it doesn't stop today. I think if you're interested to collaborate more with the volunteers, I don't think Victor will have time to do the demo with Tableau. I think that's in terms of time. I think that's good. I think that was an amazing presentation. I'm glad you're moving into the DataViz field, because what you created is really professional and beautiful. So I'd be open to maybe some Q&A with the team. Did you finish your presentation? Did you, Victor? Because I think in terms
well, I was just going to say it like thank you to Viz For Social Good, thank you to CEPEI. I think this was more like a community project. A lot of people was involved here, just giving me feedback. So I think Dennis was there. Dennis also gave me one feedback about the language. So yeah, I'm very happy with all the experience in this. So thank you all.
It's a great dashboard. Thanks a lot. Should we spend maybe five minutes with the CP team if you want to give feedback, or we keep that at the end? Up to you, team. You decide.
Victor, we would like to see the 3 presentations and then give the feedback, if that's possible. Then
perfect.
And thank you here for this last presentation. Great.
Perfect. So moving on to Chira. If you're ready, Chira, same principle. You share your screen and you spend 5-10 minutes showing us your data story.
All right, thank you, Frederick, and great job, Victor. All right, can you guys all see my screen?
Yes, we can. Thanks, Chira.
Yes. All right, first off, I want to say hello to the team at CEPEI and everybody else for joining us today. I'm relatively new to the Viz For Social Good community, so I just want to take a moment and introduce myself to everyone and briefly touch on how I got here. So my name is Chira, and I'm a data analyst based in Chicago. And I discovered this incredible project in a somewhat serendipitous way. I was scrolling through a data visualization society on a Slack channel for Chicago, and I came across a post from Kevin Ford, which is what brought me here. Saying all of that, it goes to show how unexpected the twist in life can be sometimes. One moment you're at home enjoying a pizza and watching Messi's first game in Miami, and the next you find yourself inspired to create a visualization for a prestigious organization like CEPEI. So talk about scoring a goal in life, right? So after discovering this project, I spent some time reviewing your original dashboard, and I want to say it really is quite impressive. The visuals, they were advanced, and they offered a rich context for those of us who are well-versed in data interpretation. You included a wide range of graphs, things like spider graphs, scatter plots, and useful tools like bands, as well as a multi-country comparison. In many ways, the technical sophistication of your original dashboard reminded me of the kind of work that often earns a Viz of the Day on Tableau Public. But I also spent some time reviewing CEPEI's webpage, and I noticed that your target audience was mainly government officials, UN members, and nonprofit organizations. And while I might not know these people personally, I suspect many of them aren't data experts. And while someone technical like me can really appreciate the complexity of the original dashboard, the main users likely want straightforward, easy to understand, and data-driven insights. So that's what kind of inspired me to create a simpler version of your original dashboard. I want to take a moment to briefly quote Einstein. He once said, "Make everything in life as simple as possible, but no simpler." So to do that, I've made a couple minor adjustments that I'll quickly walk you through. So in your original dashboard, the data was represented in each visualization, So in your original dashboard, the data that was represented in each visualization made it difficult to get an accurate gauge of what was currently happening. And a really good example of that is over here in the top right. If you look at the lowest performing band, in your original dashboard, I think it had Barbados listed as the lowest score. This was because in 2020, they scored 16.9. But in 2023, Barbados had improved to a rating of 57.9. So that means technically El Salvador is currently the lowest rating country with a score of 36.9. And I took that same mindset with the subsequent visualization below it over here to the left. I focused on displaying only the latest data for each country, as this seems to be the most straightforward way to present the information. And I've also added an average line over here. And you could filter if you want to see just specific years how something did. You could do that right here, and it will just filter for that data. To the right of that, originally you guys had a spider graph, and I've swapped that out for a bar graph. So the reason I did this was a spider graph can make it really tricky to quickly gauge how well a VNR is actually doing. And a bar graph, on the other hand, it lets you grasp all the VNR data in a single glance. And no spider senses are needed to do that. In this next portion, I've simplified the way that we compare countries in the original dashboard. And again, the original setup was really technically impressive, and it combined multiple charts. But even for an experienced data analyst like myself, it took a little while to kind of grasp what was happening. So to make this easier, I split it into two parts. On the left, you have a dual bar chart to display each country's VNR individually. And next to it on the right, I've added a variance bar chart that highlights the difference between the two countries, with the gray bar over here at the very bottom tilting in favor of the country with a better overall score and telling you what the overall difference would be. That's really all I did to change your original graph. So I want to thank you all for tuning in today. And to kind of sum it up again, my aim was to take an already impressive dashboard that you had created and just tweak it a little bit for your target audience. This was government officials, UN members, and just those of us who don't have Data Guru on our business cards. So I'm excited to be a part of CEPEI's mission and would love to hear your feedback. Let's keep working together to turn data into real-world solutions. Thank you and have a great day.
Thanks, Chira. Amazing. I love the simplicity. It's really beautiful, very simple. We keep the comment to the end. People in the audience can just chat away, but in interest of time, Kristina. Next one. Thanks again, Chira.
Okay, I'm ready. Just a minute. I hope that everyone see my project.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Mm-hmm. Yes, great. Firstly, I would like to say, Victor and Chira, your project is very, very beautiful. Very great job. Congratulations. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous as usual. My name is Kristina. I live in Czech Republic more than 3 years. I'm a data analytic enthusiast. And at the beginning, I would like to thank CEPEI and Viz For Social Good for this amazing project. As per my project, I wanted to create something useful, something that would let us understand how countries are coping with the reports, which countries have not so good indexes with reports or variables, and maybe understand which reports always have bad indexes or variables. My project consists of 3 pages, and let's see the first page. So at the top, you can see the general information, like period, number of reports, number of countries, and the average index. The next 2 charts have general information about, or not general information, I'm sorry. The first chart is this distribution of the average winner index by year, and the next chart represent the distribution of number of countries by year. The both chart have the first value, the last value highlighted, first and last values, minimum values, maximum values, and both of chart have tulips such as years and average index, and years and number of countries. The next one chart. The following chart shows the distribution of the average winner index by country and category. And for convenience, I decided to combine the top two categories as medium, high, and focus on the medium, low, and low and low values. Of course, this is just average values, and a high average index, for instance, does not mean that all reports from some country have a good winner index. This is just to get a direction. You can use filters by year and by region. For example, I can show you. And these filters and these filters can only show relevant values. That means if you select, for example, year 2016, or 2016, you can see only one country, and that means that you cannot select Caribbean region because there are no countries from the Caribbean in that year. This chart has tool tips such as country name, country code, average values, and name of a category. And there is another small chart that represents an average winner index by category. And of course, if you change this, for instance, year or year and region, you can see these average values. The next chart. The next chart divides the reports into first and second reports. And thanks to this chart, we can observe in which year there were more first or second reports, and which records generally prevail. For instance, now we can see that generally prevail first reports, and if I change year, we can see that in 2022 prevail second reports. The next chart. This chart gives us an understanding of which reports are of low and medium-low quality, and this chart can also be filtered by year. So I don't know what year for instance, I choose a year 2017, and we can see that in this year was only first reports. And when I, for instance, change to 2022, we can see that there are first reports and second reports. And the last chart on this page, comparison of two countries. The following chart like a comparison of two countries by VNR index. And you can select first country, second country, year of the first country, year of the second country. And there is no need to look for the year in which country sent reports. You can use these red marks as a question and just find, I don't know, necessary year and necessary country. For instance, Argentina 2017. Argentina here, and 2017, and the next country will be, I don't know, for instance, Chile 2019. Okay, Chile 2019. So all reports are grouped in descending order by first country, and also you can observe the difference, which shows whether the first country's report has a higher index or not. And the difference highlighted orange color. So all charts have tips for use, and if necessary, you can click on this sign and just get some information. Next, the second page. The next page provides information about the NGQ index. And at the top on this page, there is general information about variables, countries, and average index, by which you can understand which variable has a smaller index. For instance, convenience has very small index compared to another variables. So the next chart. This chart represents something like a trend of countries, whether they have a good average index or not. And I also decided to classify the values into 3 categories. So each of which is highlighted in color. So you can see which countries have bad instance or index. For example, this country have bad or low index. So the chart can be filtered by region, and you can also see the average NGQ index by region. So I can change Caribbean region or LITAM region. And of course, this chart has tooltips such as country name, country code, average index, and name of category. The next chart. This chart shows countries by variable, and you can filter by variable and by region. And chart also contains tooltips, and you can see a small chart. Another chart shows region by category and by average NGQ index. So I can change filter and choose, for example, communicating, and choose, for example, Caribbean region. So you can see these values. And the next the last chart is a comparison chart of 2 countries by variables. And when you select first country, second country, for instance, I can choose Brazil and, for instance, Cuba. So, and as the previous comparison chart, all variables are grouped in descending order by first country, and you can also see this difference, which that shows whether the first country has a higher index or not. And of course, every chart have tooltips, or I'm sorry, every chart has tips how to interact with this chart. And the last page. And the last page shows a chart of suggestions for improving the winner index. The chart has a tabular form with filters, with the help of which you can get information on what stage and what the report refers to. So I can change filters, for instance, and you can see the result. So in conclusion, I would like to note that each chart has tips for use, and filters are set to only relevant values except for the comparison of two countries by winner and NGQ indexes. And you can also download any page and PDF format with any filters. So thank you.
Thanks, Kristina. You did very well. A beautiful design. That's the second time you're presenting. Is that right? You presented before with the WHO project, if I'm not mistaken. Did you present before with us? I think you presented before, did you?
Yes, I presented before. It was about disabilities.
Yeah, the WHO project. Wait, yeah, well done. Well done. So now to the team, we've got about 15 minutes of Q&A. So Javier team, Alexandra, I think if you ask questions, you got the floor.
Wonderful. Thank you. First of all, I think we have said thank you several times already this morning, but it is great to see the work that you have done, specifically Victor, Chira, and Kristina. It has helped us also to push a little bit the limit on where we want to go and how we envision the next steps coming. So I would like to turn it over to my colleagues that actually will use this in a daily basis to hear their comments and their reactions. And I will go then last. So Javier and colleagues, over to you for reactions.
Thank you very much. To be sincere, I was playing a lot with your proposals before coming to this meeting. In fact, we called your proposals to be presented because we were using them just to test results and to see if they are easy to use, because as you said, we are experts, and some of the users, our main target, are also experts, but not all our users are. So the usability was an issue for us, and the high usability of your proposals is one of the reasons why you are here. So thank you very much. I want to make crystal clear that point. Regarding the presentations you have made, I have a question first to Chira and Kristina, because when we shared our data, we were clear that for the VNR quality index, the unity of analysis were the reports, not the countries. And you have presented proposals based on average, on country averages. What is very interesting because it allows us to identify a different information. But my question is, if you think that, if necessary, it is possible to disaggregate the information to have the report by report analysis, and not only the country averages. That's my only question, because it is important for us to know if we will have this opportunity. And maybe the same question, but in an opposite way, will go to Victor. Victor, if we at least decided that based on the presentations that we have seen, could be interesting to include or to give more visibility to the averages. Is it possible to include the new bar in your visualization that allows us to see not only the VNR by VNR result, but also country by country averages? So that's my question.
Thank you, Javier. If you don't mind, Kristina, Chira, and Victor, we would like to take Alexandra's, Ricardo's, and then if any other colleague from our side has something to fit in. Alex, we cannot see you, but I hope we can hear you. Your comments, please. There you are.
Here I am. So thank you to the three of you. Excellent work. The dashboards you have presented are clean, easy to navigate, and what we value the most is that the content is complete, and also that what is very important to us is that in the three proposals we have the possibility to compare between countries, and also something to highlight is that the three proposals have kept the audience in mind, including dynamic aids and explanations, which was one of the most important things for us. So good job to the three of you, and thank you. I'm handing it over to Ricardo.
No, I don't really have much to add besides of what already Javier said. But again, just to say thanks for the presentations, was very good. Thank you.
Okay, that was direct and concise. So something else from our side before handing it over? Okay, Fred and colleagues, I do have some questions and also some comments to make. As you know, we are doing this to simplify and also to connect to a broader, let's say, ecosystem, both on the policy side, but also on the data side. And I was asking myself when I was seeing your presentations, what is still missing that the end user could have its way in getting the information and actually retracting it. That was one of the questions that I still have, because we have a problem in how do we reuse and actually download this information as well. So this is a point I would like to stress out if you could answer it. And second, I would like to ask you actually a question. How do you feel at what stage you are in your dashboard? If you believe this is something that it needs some additional work simply to fine-tuning it, or do you actually have a feeling, look, I still have a lot of missing points, and in order to turn something in that we believe it's a win-win situation, how much still has to be done? I would love to hear from your side, if in percentage, on how far do you believe you are at this very moment. And last question that I would like to ask, since actually Victor, it's the only one from our region, if that made any difference in producing the dashboard. So if Kristina would say, look, if it's the Czech Republic and Spain, I would have done exactly the same map for Europe than I did for Latin America, or would have been changes in the way you approached the dashboard. So over to you from our side.
Victor, give us your impressions.
Just 1 second. I'm just like trying to, I was just listening to the question and just like answering in my mind, but I didn't take the note of all of them. So thank you very much for the feedback. I think I will start first with the Javier question. Well, I mean, yes, you can play with the different approaches. Just listen all the BNRs, or maybe just show the average, maybe just like put in a toggle just to see like the whole list or the average list. Yeah, it's something that maybe you can arrange in the visualization. So yeah, it will be possible. In which phase I am right now? So well, I have a lot of doubts in making this dashboard. It will at the first when we see the work that is published in the CEPEI webpage, we see different dashboards. So there was like BNR, there was like governance, there were like the recommendations, and in another part of the webpage, there is one visualization for the data actions. So for me, one of the biggest challenges was to connect all the information. And I'm still like, okay, we know the quality, we know the level of the governance, but I have something that is not like, let me sleep well. Like, where is the accomplishment of the goals for each country? So and somehow I was just like thinking, maybe if we can include also like the progress that each country has made for the different goals, it will be also nice to see like the relationship between, okay, they are complying with the goals and also they have good quality, or maybe we don't know maybe they are just like doing very well with the progress and the quality is very low. So it doesn't matter if the quality is good or bad, but they're going well with the goals. So for me, that's like the final end of this project, to help the progress of the SDGs. So yes, if I have to say which phase is right now, I think it's more like an exploration of the data that you have in the CEPEI. So one of the considerations that I took at the beginning, it was like, if I want to do something static, or I want to do something that you can update with a regular basis, as you were saying. So in this occasion, I just take the dashboard where you can see how the data is moving between every update, and just like put in some specific marks, like which dimensions have the better performance, which reports have increasing quality or decreasing quality. So yeah, it was a very little bit challenge to do that, but that's like the balance between updating the information and also making this something that tell to other people. So in this occasion, it was more like doing something to update the information that you have, but at the same time, you have to read between the lines to take the action for that. And many, no, I don't remember the question, but I think we can move to Kristina and Chira.
Thanks, Victor. Chira, do you have any comments?
Okay.
Oh, Kristina?
Yeah, go ahead and make some. Javier, kind of touching on what Victor said, I definitely think it's possible to add a average. That shouldn't be too difficult. We would just have to communicate a little bit about what you want to average and work on getting that there. And Philip, going to what you said about, is this a finished product? I don't think it is. What this was to me was just my original thoughts on ways to improve the dashboard, just going on a lot of assumptions that I originally made with the rest of the guys, Kevin Ford and Kevin Wee. We all met and we just kind of like reviewed what was on CEPEI's webpage, what was on Viz For Social Good's webpage, and we made some assumptions about what we wanted to do. And I think in dashboard creation, a lot of it is just communication back and forth about what we think and what you guys need, and just kind of working to get to an end product. So I don't think this is a finished product. If I were to say, I know you said something about extracting the data. I would have to just communicate with you guys and figure out exactly how you want to extract that. Whether you want to build out a table and just figure out a way to pull maybe a CSV, or try to figure out a way to pull a PDF like some of the other people have done, or a PNG file, and just figure out exactly how you want to extract that data. But we just need to sit down and kind of communicate on what you need and how I can help you get there.
Sure. Looks like there's a follow-up action there for us. I might just put you guys in touch And if the CP team wants to send you detailed feedback, the three of you, and you guys are willing to do some tweaks and changes to your dashboard, then you can sort of work offline. We don't need to be involved, but your team will be. So if it works with Philip and team, and then the volunteers, the free volunteers, that's something we can facilitate. We just I do a quick email intro, and then you run with it, and you connect with each other. Yeah, Kristina, did you have a few words, maybe?
Yeah. About question about Javier question about average values. I think that of course it depends on requirements, and I think that average values it's very useful thing, because you can understand the trend or trends. And I think average values must stay in the dashboard. Yes, and I'm sorry. The other question, I think I'm lost and I don't understand. I only can say about my feelings about my project. I think that I made just. How to say, really no, of course it's only depends on requirements, but I want to analyze, and I like analyze everything, and I try to think what things will be useful. And I think that I add really useful charts, useful things, and I think is it enough to understand and to realize the situation. So.
Thanks, Kristina. Thanks for that. So, as I said, I think it looks like the action for us is to make sure CP and the volunteers are connected. And if CP wants to provide feedback, detailed feedback by email, and the volunteers are happy to do some changes, we can facilitate that. Philip, any closing comment from your team's perspective? And then we'll wrap up the event after that.
No, Fred. I believe what you have said. We would love to follow up on this because we believe, as it was said by I believe two persons already, this is a work in progress. Of course, we have an ambition on where we want to get, and we know this is a process that we need to work together. And I believe Chira just made it very clear. This is about communication, and this is about actually setting up the standards on how far can we go at this very moment, and how can we do that. And this is actually going for your proposal. We would be open, of course, from our side to have that conversation with the three of you and seeing on how we could improve. And what we would also like to do, and be very open to you to explain what we liked from the three very specifically, and how can we honor the work that you have done and the time that you have put, and get the best out of it. To be very opportunistic here, because we want them to build on that and see how we can make it sustainable. So Vanita and Fred, if it's okay, we would first of all go on your proposal to see how we can propose a next stage in getting in connecting the dots, and from there see how much time this would really imply and what efforts we have to put in there. But from our side, you can count 150% on the team to work on this and to communicate with Kristina, Chira, and Victor, and seeing how from our side we can feedback and have a final product that we can put online. And that being said, of course, great work and especially the time you have put in. Krista just mentioned that she likes to analyze everything. So you can imagine when you send us the information and your word, we are on the receiving side and do exactly the same. So we have the same, let's say, virtues of going deep in here. And we, especially Javier and team, will feed back to you. And that being said, Fred, you are already on your weekend. We are just putting on the engines to go for better days. They're called Saturday and Sundays. So you're ahead of the curve, but we will do the best that on Monday to start feeding back as well, opportunity.
Thanks, Philip. So I think just to close off, and Vanita, if you want to also maybe a few closing comments from a perspective, thanks, Victor, Chira, Kristina, amazing work. Also, thanks to the other volunteers I've submitted. Denis is on the call. Denis is always an amazing volunteer. Thanks, Denis. It takes a lot of time to do work on your weekend, on your spare time. Thanks, Kevin and the Chicago crew as well for bringing the troops. I think that thanks a lot, Kevin. I think it's good. Thanks to the team, Philip team. I think you were very responsive on Slack. It's a complex data, and you were always there to just answer questions. So it's been a great project. And as I said, if the volunteers are happy to tweak the dashboard and improve them and make them version 2, and it helps you guys and helps them also build their skills, let's facilitate the discussion. I think from a perspective, I'm glad that we've worked with CEPEI as a project, and we got amazing quality. Vanita, do you want to close?
I'm good, but yeah, thank you all, everyone. It was amazing, and have a wonderful weekend. And I know some of us, we get Monday off, so it's actually a extra long weekend in North America.
Nice.
So that's exciting.
All right. Thanks again. Thanks everyone, and
okay.
Connect with us on Slack for our next project, probably next year.
Sounds good.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Ciao. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye.
Thanks.
Have a good day, evening. Bye.